Hello everyone. This is Dr. Ritin Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, AJ Institute of Engineering and Technology, Mangaluru. Dear students, in the last class we have discussed regarding the various concepts of displacement current, and also we have seen the equation of continuity and different forms of Maxwell equation. Okay, so in the today's class, so let us discuss the new chapter called as electromagnetic waves. So coming to the electromagnetic waves, so the most important results of Maxwell theory is that actually the accelerated charge radiates the electromagnetic waves. So for example, let us consider a charge oscillating with some frequency, maybe in the LC circuit. An oscillating charge is an example of accelerating charge. So it produces an oscillating electric field in space, which produces an oscillating magnetic field, which in turn is a source of oscillating electric field, and so on. The oscillating field and magnetic field thus generates each other as a wave propagate through the space. So this frequency of the electromagnetic wave is equal to the frequency of the oscillation of charges. The energy associated with the propagating wave comes at the expense of energy of the source, namely the accelerate charge. So thus what according to Maxwell is, see, these electromagnetic waves are those waves in which there is a sinusoidal variations of electric and magnetic field vectors at right angles to each other, as well as at right angles to the direction of the propagation of the wave. So, or you can also describe the electromagnetic waves as like this. So, electromagnetic waves are simply called as EM waves, are the waves that are created as a result of vibration between electric field and magnetic field. Actually, it is a fluctuating electric field and magnetic field. Once the vector become electric field, in next part of the wave, the vectors which are vibrating parallel to the plane of the paper becomes a magnetic field. So in other words, EM waves are composed of oscillating electric field and magnetic field. Okay. So actually this confirmation of Maxwell theory came in the form of Hertz experiment. So in the year 1887, Hendrik Hertz was the scientist who produced the electromagnetic wave. Actually he is the man who showed the electromagnetic wave using some spark oscillators, etc. And later few years, our Indian scientist called as Jagadish Chandra Bose succeeded in producing and observing the electromagnetic waves of the shorter wavelength in the range of 5 millimeter to 25 millimeter. And of course, so further it is proceeded by Marconi, who discovered the radio that is transmitted over several kilometers. That is actually Marconi's experiment is actually the beginning of communication using electromagnetic waves. So dear students, actually electromagnetic waves are mainly meant for communication process. So that is a main agenda of this electromagnetic waves. Okay. So now let us see some of the characteristics of electromagnetic waves. See, this the electromagnetic waves consist of electric field and magnetic field, which are perpendicular to the each other, and they are also perpendicular to the direction of the electromagnetic waves. Okay. Next, electromagnetic waves travels with a constant speed of 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second in vacuum. Electromagnetic waves comprises of it starts from radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible, ultraviolet, X-rays, gamma rays, etc. In that, see, the one of the basic characteristic is this electromagnetic waves travels with the speed of light almost 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. It can be shown by the relation C is equal to 1 by square root of mu naught into epsilon naught, that we can see in the next slides. So the third characteristic is they are deflected neither by electric field nor by the magnetic field. However, they are capable of showing interference and diffraction. It doesn't deflect using the electric field or even by the magnetic field. They simply pass. They don't get deflected using this kind of field, but it is capable of showing interference and diffraction. What is interference? It is a modification in the intensity of light. So you can increase the intensity, or intensity is directly proportional to the amplitude. So you can increase the amplitude or decrease the amplitude of electromagnetic waves. And diffraction, what is diffraction? Diffraction is bending of electromagnetic wave around an obstacle and reaching into geometrical shadow region. So this is called as diffraction. So waves are capable of producing interference as well as diffraction. An electromagnetic wave can travel through anything, be it in air or any solid material or vacuum. It does not need a medium to propagate or travel from one place to another place. Mechanical waves, on the other hand, need a material medium to travel. So this is how some electromagnetic waves they simply travel. But anyways, some mechanical waves are like sound waves, so it require a material medium for propagation. So next one. So electromagnetic waves are a transverse wave. So electromagnetic waves are transverse. So waves can be classified into two kinds of waves. One is called as longitudinal wave, other is called as a transverse wave. Longitudinal wave, here particle vibration is in the direction of propagation of the wave, just like your paddy field. So when the air blows, the paddy stacks bend in the direction of the propagation of the wave. These kind of waves are called as longitudinal wave. But electromagnetic waves is other kind of wave called as transverse wave. Here particle direction vibration is perpendicular to the direction of the wave propagation. So these are called as transverse wave. This means that they are measured by their amplitude, wavelength, and between the distance of the lowest and highest point of consecutive waves, that is between the crest and trough of the waves. So last one, electromagnetic waves can be split into a range of frequency, as I discussed earlier. This is known as actually electromagnetic spectrum. So it starts from actually the radio waves. I am going in terms of wavelength range. So radio waves. Next is the microwaves. Next is the infrared waves. Next is the visible light. Next is the ultraviolet, X-rays, and last one is the gamma rays, etc. So this is how. So you can see an wavelength range creation. The radio waves wavelength range is almost something like zero 0.1 meter, which is used for accelerating electrons in etc. It is detected by aerial receivers, etc. Next is the microwaves. You can see microwaves. So this microwaves is having the range almost something like 1 millimeter to 0.1 meter. They are generally produced by klystron or magnetron wall, or even they can be detected by using point contact diodes, etc. Next comes is the infrared. So this is the infrared. So having the wavelength range something like 750 nanometer to 1 millimeter. So these are produced by vibrations of the atom, molecules, etc. You can detect it using bolometer, which is used to measure the infrared radiation, thermopiles, or even IR photographic film also is very sensible for these kind of radiations. So next come is our main important one is called as visible light, a band of spectrum starting from violet to it is a violet to VIBGYOR to red. So of course anyway, so VIBGYOR, so something like 400 nanometer to 750 nanometer. These are got by using the excitation of the atoms, and human eye, photographic cell, photographic plates, etc. can detect this kind of visible light. So next is the ultraviolet. So next come is the ultraviolet. So this is the ultraviolet region. So it is almost something like 1 nanometer to 400 nanometer. So these are produced by excitation of inner shells electron in atom generally. So can be detected by using photocell, photographic cell, etc. Next one is the X-rays. So that is X-rays. X-rays having the range of 10 to the power minus 3 nanometer to 1 nanometer. So these are produced by X-ray tubes, inertial electrons, etc. Photographic plates and even Geiger tubes, ionization chamber can be used for the detection of these kind of electromagnetic spectrum. And last one is the gamma rays. which is less than 10 to the power minus 3 nanometer. Gamma rays is actually the radioactivity. You know, during the radioactivity, alpha rays, beta, and next come is the gamma rays. So three kinds of radiation are coming out. So radioactive rays actually, a photographic plate or even a Geiger tube or an ionization chamber can be used for the detection of this kind of radiation. As a whole, this is called as electromagnetic waves, is classified as an electromagnetic spectrum. So electromagnetic spectrum, it is nothing but an orderly distribution of electromagnetic rays, radiations, okay, according to their wavelength or frequency, is called as electromagnetic spectrum. So these electromagnetic waves, so these electromagnetic waves are actually predicted by, as I told, it is predicted by the classical law of electricity and magnetism based on Maxwell equation. They are non-trivial solution of homogeneous Maxwell equation describing the wave of changing electric and magnetic field. So the electromagnetic waves in space must be the solution of Maxwell electromagnetic equations. Okay, there are two solutions, namely plane waves and also the spherical waves. And you know, the plane waves are maybe viewed as a limiting case of spherical waves at a very large distance from the source. So you can see here, you can see this one is an electromagnetic waves. So you can see the red color one is the vector which is vibrating parallel to the plane of the board or the paper, and blue color one is a vector which is vibrating perpendicular to the plane of the board. So suppose if you see here electric field, so red one is denoted as an electric field and blue one is denoted as a magnetic field. So both are mutually perpendicular. So angle between the two vectors are 90 degree and they are moving in the direction of the propagation. So in this way you can see now, so first vector is an electric vector, next is a magnetic vector. When it goes other one becomes electric vector, other is a magnetic vector. So this is actually called as electromagnetic radiations. Together is called as electromagnetic radiation. So you can see here, so this is the direction of the propagation of the wave, and this is here taken as electric vector which is vibrating parallel to the plane of the board, and this blue color one is taken as a magnetic vector H which is vibrating perpendicular to the plane of the board. So the distance between two consecutive crests, so this is taken as wavelength of the wave, or even distance between two consecutive trough can be called as wavelength of the wave. So you can see that angle between here, angle between the two vectors is almost equal to, or equal to, exactly equal to 90 degree. Okay, so they are mutually perpendicular to each other. Next one. So next let us go for a very important derivation. So derivation of wave equation in terms of electric field using Maxwell's equation. So let us derive the wave equation using the Maxwell equation. Okay, so now let us consider the Maxwell equation. So del cross H is equal to J plus dou D by dou T. Del cross H is equal to J plus dou D by dou T. Hope we have studied this one, where dou D by dou T is the displacement current density that we have studied, the Maxwell correction for Ampere's law. So del cross H is equal to J, and later on Maxwell realized that there is a small problem here, so he wrote an expression that del cross H is equal to J plus dou D by dou T. So let us take that one as equation 1, and we know that del cross E is equal to minus dou B by dou T. So this is another Maxwell equation, a differential form. So let us take these two equation 1 and so this equation 1 and equation 2. Okay, so next we know that D is equal to epsilon E. So we know D is equal to epsilon E. We know D is directly proportional to the electric field. Okay, so D is equal to epsilon into electric field. So next one, so let us substitute in the place of this d. So let us substitute this d here in the place of d here in the equation 1. What happens is del cross h is equal to j plus in place of d, it is actually like this. So when you substitute here, so it was like this, dou d by dou t. So when you substitute here in place of d, so it is actually dou by dou t, so it is epsilon e. So it becomes like this, epsilon e. You can remove that epsilon and you can take this epsilon outside. So it is del cross h is equal to j plus sigma dou e by dou t, epsilon dou e by dou t. So and also we know that b is equal to mu h. We know b is equal to mu h. So substituting in equation 2. So this one, let us substitute in equation 2 here. So you can take this and you can substitute here in the place of b. So the equation next reduces to del cross E is equal to minus mu into dou h by dou t. I repeat again, let us take del cross h is equal to j plus dou d by dou t. But we know d is equal to epsilon E. So just substitute the d, displacement current density, as epsilon E, and you take epsilon outside, so that becomes equation 3. Similarly, in the equation 2, just substitute the place of b is equal to mu h and you remove mu outside the differential term. So del cross E is equal to minus mu into dou h by dou t. So the electric field equation relating the spatial coordinate E to its time coordinate. So let us take the curl. So now let us take the curl on equation 4 both sides. So this is very prominent equation. So now let us take this equation and apply curl on both sides. So what happens is, so del curl. So here you have to apply the curl here. So del curl of E is equal to mu into, so it was dou h by dou t. So mu is a constant, so curl goes inside, so dou by dou t of curl of h. Okay, so next one, but according to the theorem of this one, according to the theorem of vectors, so we can write that curl of E is equal to divergence of E minus del square into E. Okay, so this is the theorem. So now what we do, so instead of writing as curl of E, we can write it as del of divergence of E minus del square E. But del of E is equal to rho V by epsilon. That you know, del dot, see this how we got is, so this one, so it is actually, you know, this one, this equation del dot d is equal to rho, that is Maxwell equation. Okay, so this d you put it as, we know d is equal to epsilon into E, you know, d is equal to epsilon. So what happens here, so it is del dot epsilon E is equal to rho. So you take this epsilon to the denominator, so we can write it del E is equal to rho by epsilon. So next, okay, so now equation 6 we got. So this del dot E is this del dot E, so this is replaced here. So you just substitute as rho V by E, how I derived here. Okay, so it is del square into E. Now using equation 5 and 6, so this is 5 and this is 6. So equation 5 and 6, so we get that, so and divergence del of E is rho V minus del square E is equal to minus mu into dou into curl of h into dt. So next one, so del rho V by epsilon minus del square E is equal to minus mu into dou by dou t. So del cross h, we know del cross h, that is can be j plus epsilon dou E by dou t. So that is from the Maxwell equation. As a result here, del square E, you just rearrange the terms here, just rearrange the terms, you replace this del square E, you bring it to the other end, So this side, so you bring it to this side, so it is plus del square E and minus mu epsilon dou, this mu you just multiply here, so it is mu epsilon dou square E by dou t is equal to, so this when it goes to this this term, the term minus mu dou by dou t j current density, when it goes to the other end becomes plus this one del rho v by epsilon. You take it as equation 7. Now for free charges where there is no charges present, what about the density? No charges means density is equal to 0. As a result, what happens to the current density? Since there is no movement of the charges, current density will reduce us to 0. So for the free charges, where no charges are present, so we will get rho v is equal to 0 and j is equal to 0. Hence see what happens here is del square E minus mu epsilon del square dou square E by dou t square. So this j is 0, so this term reduces to 0 and rho is 0, so this term is also going to reduce it to 0. So del square E minus mu epsilon dou square A by dou t square is equal to 0. So equation confirmed represents the wave equation in terms of electric field. So this is actually the wave equation in terms of electric field. Okay. Similarly, one can write the expression for the magnetic field the same way how we derived. You can derive for magnetic field also, that is del square h. You just replace E by h and write del square h minus mu epsilon del square h by dou square h by dou t square is equal to 0. So this comparing the equation 8 and 9 with the classical wave equation. So what does the classical wave equation tells? Classical wave equation tells that it is a del square f minus 1 by v square. So dou square f by dou t square is equal to 0. So when you compare, see here del square, there is a del square here, same. So h vector, there is an f vector here. Okay. So instead of when you write mu epsilon, there is a term here 1 by v square, and when you write here, it is a term called as dou square f by dou square f by dou t square. There is a term called dou square h by dou t square, that is equal to 0. So when you compare, so we get here in the place of 1 by v square, we are having 1 by v square is equal to mu into epsilon. That's a very important equation. Or we get v is equal to 1 by mu into epsilon. Mu into epsilon. So next one, so you can see that here, and also one can by using this Maxwell equation, one can also calculate what is the velocity of the electromagnetic wave by using this one. So instead of v, so v is equal to, see it can be written as like this, so v equal to, so 1 by, so it can be written like this, 1 by, so square root of you can write mu naught into epsilon naught, because what happens here is mu is equal to, you can write like this, so mu is equal to mu naught into, that is equal to mu r. But what is mu r for air medium? That is equal to 1. In such cases, you can write mu is equal to mu naught. Similarly, one can write for epsilon also. Epsilon is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r. Okay, but for air medium, epsilon r is equal to 1. In such cases, epsilon will be equal to epsilon. So here, this one, we can write in this way. So v is equal to 1 by, so you can write mu naught by epsilon naught. So what is the value of mu naught? Just substitute 4.10 raised to minus 7 Henry per meter, and epsilon naught 8.854 10 raised to minus 12 farad per meter. Just substitute that one in the place of mu naught and epsilon naught. When you calculate, so you will get the velocity of the electromagnetic radiation as nearly, that is nearly 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So similarly, using this expression, one can also calculate what is the speed of electromagnetic waves. Okay. So here epsilon is called as permittivity, and mu is called as uh, permeability of the medium. Okay, so you can see this one kind of electromagnetic waves, a very nice representation of electromagnetic waves. So this is the direction of the propagation of the wave, and you can see one electric vector and magnetic vector which are mutually perpendicular to each other, and this waves travels, this is a wave. So now we confirm that this equation is nothing but our wave equation. So this is a wave and this is the propagating direction of the wave. So, and you see that electric and magnetic vectors are mutually perpendicular to each other. So this is the expression for electromagnetic waves. So next one, what are plane waves? So what are plane waves? See, these are the electromagnetic waves in which electric and magnetic field are uniform over a plane perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So you can see here, so this is one kind of plane wave. So you can see, so this is the direction of the wave. So this is the direction of the wave. So like this the wave is propagating. Okay, so you can see that it is nothing but it is moving in terms of plane. So this is a plane. So these are called as, this is the direction of the propagation of the wave, and you can see that this is a plane here, another plane here, so another plane here. So these are called as a plane wave. You can see one electric vector and one magnetic vector. Electric vector up and magnetic vector is down. So these are called as plane waves. And for example, an electromagnetic waves propagating along z-x axis, if the electric and magnetic field do not vary along y and x z axis but vary only along x axis, so you can see this one, it goes in the direction of x axis and does not vary, just all the planes are similar to each other. So the only variation you can see, the difference between the plane can vary. So the wave can vary only along the x-axis, and the wave can be said to be plane wave. So the expression can be written as dou hv by dou v plus dou hv by dou z, that is equal to dou h dz by dou v plus dou h dz by dou z, because here in this expression the wave does not vary along y, and you can see that the wave does not vary along y and z axis, that is equal to 0. That means it only varies along the x axis. So next, coming to the relation between E and B for uniform plane wave, the relation between electric field and magnetic field for a uniform plane wave. The equation of an plane electromagnetic wave in terms of electric field and magnetic field is given by, it is a very qualitative explanation. E by B is equal to square root of mu by epsilon. E by B is equal to square root of mu by epsilon. I already told that the mu can be written as mu is equal to mu naught into mu r, permeability, and permittivity of this medium can be written as epsilon is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r. But epsilon naught into epsilon for air medium, epsilon naught epsilon r is equal to 1. So in such cases we can write epsilon is equal to epsilon naught. Okay, so for vacuum, as I told, for air or vacuum, E by B is equal to square root of mu naught by epsilon naught. So next one, transverse nature of electromagnetic waves. What are the transverse nature? So as I already told, the transverse nature, longitude and transverse wave. Transverse wave is the wave in which particle vibration occurs perpendicular to the direction of the propagation of the wave is called as transverse nature of the wave. So let us consider a uniform plane wave propagating along x direction in a medium where there are no charges present. So according to the Maxwell equations, we have that is the first Maxwell equation, del dot D is equal to rho. But I have written here rho is that is equal to 0 because there is no charges present. Since no charges present, density of the charges is equal to 0. As a result, the equation can be written as del dot D is equal to 0. Del dot D is equal to rho, that is equal to 0. Okay. So next, for free space, del dot E, but we know I already mentioned that this D can be written as, so that is very good relationship here. D is equal to epsilon naught into E. So in the place of d, you replace it by d is equal to epsilon naught into E. So next, so it is del of divergence of epsilon E. But here what happens is this epsilon, so it can be written like this. See here, del dot epsilon E is equal to 0 electric field. This epsilon take to the denominator. So del dot E is equal to 0 by epsilon, that is equal to 0. So it is del dot epsilon is equal to, or see, del divergence of E. How to write the divergence of E? Divergence of E can be written as dou E by dou X, dou EV by dou Y, dou EZ by dou Z, that is equal to 0. So as the wave propagate along x direction, okay, since so EV and EZ remains constant along y and z direction. I already told that when the plane wave propagates, there is no variation of the vector in in y and z direction. So the only vibration occurs is only along the x direction. So it can be written as dou EV by dou y, dou EZ by dou z, that is equal to 0. As I already told, since there is no vibrations occur here, so there is no variation. There is no variation of EY and there is no variation of EZ, so that is equal to 0. So what is the variation occur here? So from the equation 1 we get dEx by dx is equal to 0, that is from the equation 2, or dou E by Ax by dou x is equal to 0, or we can write Ex is equal to constant. So when a differential of an term becomes 0, then that term should be a constant. So it can be written as dou Ex by dx is equal to 0, or we can write Ex is equal to a constant, or Ex is equal to 0. It may be a constant or Ex is equal to 0. Okay, but for the plane wave, Ex cannot be a constant, so it is a periodic, so it varies. As I told, it varies, so Ex is equal to 0. So this tells that in the uniform propagating plane wave progressing in x direction, no x component of electric field, there is no x component of electric field. It indicates that electric field is to be a direction of the perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So similar analysis would show that x component of the magnetic field is also equal to 0. So from this we get that when the wave propagates, so it is very clear. So when the wave propagates, there is no particle which is vibrating along this direction. So there is only the particle which vibrates along perpendicular direction. It's a controversial thing. So that indicates in a different manner that the particle may vibrate along perpendicular to each other. So that is called as a transverse nature of the wave. So you can see here, so a very nice picture is given. So this is the direction of the propagation of the wave. You can see here the vectors are vibrating perpendicular or to the plane of the vibrating. The vectors are vibrating vibrating with respect to the plane of the paper, and also vectors are vibrating perpendicular to the plane of the paper. Okay. So next one, polarization of plane waves. So what is meant by polarization? Actually, polarization was first set up by the scientist called as Thomas Young, and even the Augustin Fresnel, and also the Francois Arago. So what is this polarization? Polarization is a restriction of the vibration of light in a particular plane, in a particular direction, is called as polarization. So polarization of a uniform plane wave refers to the time varying behavior of electric component at some point in space. It behaves the electrical component at some point in space. One is, there are different kinds of polarization. So linear polarization, circular polarization, and elliptical polarization. So now let us take one by one. What is this linear polarization? So linear polarization is, in a linear polarization, the electromagnetic wave, the electric vector remains in one direction at all the times. Consider that the wave, let us for the in this analogy we are considering that our wave is propagating along the z direction. So the electric field can have x component and y component. The resultant electric field vector will be oriented in a particular direction, that is tan theta is equal to Ey by Ex. As the wave advances, Ex and Ey changes in magnitude, but the change is always such that the ratio of Ey by Ex remains constant. So the electric vectors varies from 0 to E maximum and back to 0 in one direction, and then to 0 to E maximum and back to 0 in opposite direction. So during one cycle, the electric vectors appears to transverse a straight line as shown in the figure. Okay, so the electric intensity of the uniform plane wave is in the conducting medium can be written as, so E vector x of t is equal to E naught e to the power minus alpha z cos omega t minus beta z ax. So this represents the linear polarized wave in electric field is always equal, is in the direction x direction. So this can be assumed into two components. So we already told that our wave is propagating along the z direction. So it is identified by here. So now we have given Ex z of t. Z of t indicates that the wave is propagating along z direction. Okay, so that is Ex. That means this wave is having two components. One is Ex component, other is the Ey component, other is the Ey component. Okay, so is Ex z of t can be written as E naught of x e to the power minus alpha z cos omega t minus beta z plus theta x. Okay, so next one, other one, Ey component is, we have told that Ey component here. So Ey component is written here. Ey z of t is equal to E naught of y e to the power minus alpha z cos omega t minus beta z plus theta y. So these are the two components of this equation, that is x component is written by this one and y component is written by this expression. So at z is equal to 0, when there is no there is any phase, so it can be that theta x equal to theta y is equal to theta, there is no phase change. In such cases the expression can be written as Ex is equal to E naught of x cos omega t minus beta z plus theta, because theta x is equal to theta y, that is we have taken as theta, or Ey 0 of t and the z is equal to 0. So we have written here E naught for z is equal to 0. So this one Ey 0 of t is equal to E naught of y cos omega t minus beta z plus theta. Okay, so next when you divide the two expression, so this expression divided by this, divided first equation, if you take this one as equation 1 and if you take this one as equation 2, when you divide here, so equation 1 divided by equation 2, which gives this one as Ex of t is equal to, actually it is E naught of x cos omega t minus beta z plus theta, it gets cancelled with each other. So it is Ey 0 of t, and Ey 0 of t goes to the other end during the cross multiplication. So this equation is, final expression is given by Ex 0 of t is equal to Ey of x, Ey of E naught of x, E naught of x, Ey 0 of t. So this equation describes a linear relation between two components. Linear polarization is a special case of elliptical polarization in which phase difference is 0. It's very easy to get the linear polarized light. So when the unpolarized light is passed through a terminal crystal across etc., so terminal kind of crystal has having optic axis in one direction, it will allow only the vectors which are vibrating parallel to that particular optics axis, and the light comes out. You can see here the light comes out here. So you can see light comes out here, the linearly polarized light. So this, if this is the direction of the optic axis, so this is the direction of the movement of the electromagnetic waves. You can see that the only the vectors which are parallel to this kind of optic axis just pass through. So you will get one wave vibrating like this and one wave vibrating in this way, but it is in the form of a plane, so it is called as a plane waves. So next kind of waves is called a circular polarization. So what is this circular polarization? In a circular polarized wave, the electric vector describes a circular over one cycle as a plane wave advances. Here, the phase difference between x and y component of electric field will be out of phase by 90 degree. The electric vector will have a constant magnitude but changes its direction, describing a circle. So equation is given by x of t is equal to e naught x e to the power minus alpha z cos omega t minus beta z that plus theta x, and similarly y component, as we studied earlier, we have written ey x of t that is equal to e naught of y e to the power alpha z cos omega t minus beta z plus theta y. And anyways, for a circularly polarized light, E naught x is equal to E naught y, that is E naught at z is equal to 0, and there is a phase theta x is equal to theta y plus 90 degree. So when you substitute in this equation Ez of t, the component, that is Ez of t E naught of e to the power alpha x alpha z cos omega t minus beta z plus theta x, and other one Ey y component Ey z of t is equal to E naught e to the power minus alpha z cos omega t minus beta z plus theta x. So you take this equation 1 and 2. So next, squaring and adding. So you have to square this equation. You have to first square this equation, and then both should be added. So squaring and adding equation 1 and 2, so we get an expression as e square 0 of t plus ey 0 of t is equal to e naught square, a very important expression. So further, you can see this expression is nothing but the expression of a circle. So x square plus y square is equal to a square or b square, anything, any a general representation equation of a circle. You can see, so when you trace the tip of the vector which comes out, so it is in the form of a circle. So you can see here it is in the form of a circle, tip of the head. That's why it is called as a circularly polarized light. Okay. So next one, elliptically polarized light. So what is this elliptically polarized light? In an elliptically polarized light plane wave, the electric vector E constantly changes both its magnitude and direction, and electric vector describes an ellipse during one cycle. Okay. In an elliptically polarized wave, there will be a phase difference not equal to 90 degree between Ey and Ex and Ey. When the component are out of phase, the electric vector E rotates as the function of time, describing an ellipse. It attains the maximum value E maximum in the direction of major axis, and a minimum value E minimum in the direction of minor axis. So Ex of t is equal to E naught e to the power minus alpha z cos omega t minus beta z plus theta x, and Ey is equal to that same equation how we described in the circularly polarized light. So same equation, you try to remember, Ey x of t E naught of e to the power minus alpha z cos omega t minus beta z plus theta y. Okay. So when you z is equal to 0, and here theta x is equal to theta y plus 90 degree, the phase difference, and we know that the two vectors are not equal in elliptical polarized light. E naught of x is not equal to E naught of y, but in the circularly polarized light, E naught of x is equal to E naught of y. So when you divide, that is E naught of x, E naught of x 0 to e, and E naught of x is equal to cos omega t minus beta z into theta x, and similarly we get Ey 0 of t divided by E naught of y is equal to sin omega t minus beta z plus theta x. So this, when you divide, you will get the expression in the form of an ellipse. Squaring and adding, you will get E square 0 of t, E square 0 of t divided by E naught of square. So what you have to do, you take this expression equation 1, you take this one as equation 2, just square and add. So this will be here, this term, and this term will be equal to here, but squaring cos square cos square theta plus sin square theta is equal to 1. So this when you square and add, that reduces to 1 here. So this equation represents the equation of an ellipse, hence it is called as elliptically polarized light. Same thing, when the light comes out of a from any crystal, when you trace the head of the vector, it comes in the form of an ellipse. So that's why it is called as elliptically polarized light. So you can see, when you trace the head of the vector like this, it is in the form of an ellipse. So elliptically polarized light. So you can see the particle which passes through the optic axis, only that particle that vector actually comes out. So that gives you the linear polarized light. Say this vector vibrating only in x and negative x axis. You can see the vector which is passing along this axis and as well as this one. So when it comes out, if you trace the tip of the vector head, it forms in the form of a circularly polarized light. Suppose the vector which comes out, as I told, E naught is not equal to E naught of x is not equal to E naught of y. You can see, if such particle axis, so if you trace the head of the tip of that vector, it gives you elliptically polarized light. In this way, one can get the circularly polarized light, plane polarized light, and elliptically polarized light for different applications. Okay. Now let us try to solve the problems. So let us take the first one. Only two problems let us solve. First one, a circular loop of 10 centimeter radius is located in xy plane in a magnetic field B, which is given by B is equal to 0.5 cos 377t 3ay vector plus 4az vector, that is a Tesla. Determine the voltage induced in the loop. So there is a coil of 10 centimeter radius located in a SY plane and which produces the magnetic field. So like this, there is a coil. So there is a coil. So like this, there is a coil which produces the magnetic field at one point. So anywhere, somewhere it produces the magnetic field of this order. So current is going to pass through this coil in this way. It produces the magnetic field of the order B. Now he is giving what is the voltage in the coil. So first, we know area is equal to pi r square. So area is equal to 3.14 into r. So r is given in centimeter. So let us convert into meter, and this can be written as 0.1. So just r is substituted here. It is 0.1 square. So we will get the area. So circular loop is located in xy plane. Let us imagine, so that unit normal to the plane along z direction is az cap. So ds is equal to vector is equal to ds into az cap. Okay, so b is equal to 0.5 3ay cap plus 4az cap. Now what is the voltage induced? You have to calculate. So the flux linked with the loop is given by phi is equal to integral of b dot ds or integral of b dot ds into az cap, because the magnetic field produced is along the z cap. Coil is lying on x and y plane. So B Az is a constant throughout the loop. So phi is equal to, so B Az just in this one, you can take this Bz outside, B Az cap outside, and some integral of ds. Let us take integral of ds as s, and pi 0.1 square, that is into, that is s is the area. So it is pi r square, we already calculated. So that is written as pi into r square 0.1 square into baz, or phi is equal to we know b is already given in the problem. It is 0.5 cos 377t 3ay plus az into az. Next, what happens when you multiply here az? So it is az into ay. so that is equal to 0, and az into az, that is equal to 1. So that 4 remains here, so it is 0 pi 0 0.1 square 0 0.5 cos 377t into 4. Okay, so that phi is equal to, just calculate all the numericals, it comes to be 0 0.06283 cos 377t. Now we have to calculate what is the voltage induced according to the Faraday's law of electromagnetic spectrum. E is equal to minus d phi by dt. So it is minus 0.06283 d by dt of cos 377t. Okay, so that comes as 0.06283 into 377 into sin cos d by dt of cos 377t reduces to sin 377t. Okay, and that is equal to 23.69 sin 377t is the induced voltage. He didn't give the value of t here. Suppose if you are given the value of t, so just substitute the place of t, and just calculate the sign of this value, and you can calculate what is the value of induced voltage. So next question, the electric field of an uniform plane wave is given by E is equal to 40 sine pi x to the power 6t minus 2 pi z ax cap plus 40 cos 330 pi x to the power 6 10 to the power 6t minus 2 pi z ay cap volt per meter. So this is the electric field given for a plane wave. From this we have to calculate what is the frequency, wavelength, direction and propagation of the wave. So we have to calculate the frequency, the wavelength and direction. So now let us take an electric field of an given wave. So he has given the wave as E is equal to 40 sine 30 pi into x to the power 6t minus 2 pi z ax cap plus 40 cos 30 pi into 10 to the power 6t minus 2 pi z ay cap, so volt per meter. So now what we have to do, we have to compare this one general plane wave equation. So what is the general plane wave equation? So it is E is equal to E sine omega t minus beta z ax cap plus cos omega t minus beta z ay cap. Okay, so this is a general wave equation, plane wave equation, and you people has to remember this equation. So very important equation. It's a very simple problem. First you write this for any kind of problem given. First you write the plane equation. E is equal to E sine omega t minus beta z ax cap plus cos omega t minus beta z ay cap, and you just compare with the given wave equation. A very simple one. Understood? So next one, when you move after comparison, so omega is equal to 2 pi f etc. So phase beta is the phase constant, z is the direction of propagation of the wave. So as I told, comparing equation 1 and 2, so in place of omega so here so in the back slide, so you can see in the back slide in place of omega, so you can see here in place of omega, so there is a term called as 30 pi, 30 pi, okay, 30 pi into 10 to the power 6. So in place of beta you got a term here as 2 pi z, 2 pi z. So omega, comparing, you get omega is equal to 30 pi 10 raised to 6. So here omega is equal to 30 pi 10 raised to 6 is equal to 2 pi f. And what is f? F is equal to 30 pi into 10 raised to 6 divided by 2 pi. So pi gets cancelled out. So 2 it is 15. So it is actually 15 into 10 to the power 6 frequency. It is hertz. Okay. So like that you just compare the equation. So when you compare, as I told, 2 pi f is equal to 30 pi 10 raised to 6 here. 2 pi f is equal to 30 pi into 10 raised to 6. So what is f? 2 pi, you just do like this. So f is equal to, it is 30 pi into 10 raised to 6 divided by 2 pi. So pi gets cancelled out, so it is 15 here. So it is 15 into 10 raised to 6, so that comes as 15 megahertz. So next one, velocity of the wave. Velocity of the wave, we know a very basic formula, v is equal to f lambda. So v is equal to f lambda, or we already know the value of f, it is 15 megahertz. And for an electromagnetic wave, we know wave, it travels with a speed, we already calculated using the formula, v is equal to 1 by square root of mu naught into epsilon naught. We substituted that one and we came to know that is 3 into 10 raised to 8. So velocity of an electromagnetic wave traveling in the space is v is equal to 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. So this just substitute here the place of v. We know v is equal to f lambda, and f we already calculated as 15 megahertz by comparing. So 15 into 10 raised to 6, and calculate what is the value of lambda. So the value of lambda comes to be, so 20 meter. So it comes to be almost 20 meter. Sometimes he may ask you, can you tell me what kind of electromagnetic radiation is this one? Suppose if it comes something like 20 meter, 20 meter, you can tell that these are nothing but our radio waves. Okay, radio waves. So given equation z, the coefficient of beta, that is beta, as I told beta, when you compare, so it comes to be the value of beta that come, even you can calculate what is the value of beta, coefficient of beta also, it is directly given in the question. So you can calculate what is the beta, so beta constant. So this completes the electromagnetic waves. Hope you understand the things. So you can see one kind of wave. So plane wave here. Other is a circular kind of wave. Second one. So this first one is a plane wave. We can see that it is vibrating like this. Other is a circular kind of wave. So the vector here, e naught of x equal to e naught of y. So you can see it is an elliptical kind of wave. So e naught of x is not equal to e naught of y. So this is one, and you can see how the variations here. One is a plane, other is circular, and the last third one is a elliptical, which is used in different rotations. Okay, thank you.